Saints, Patriots, and Texans all over the future independent sovereign republic of Texas and around the world. All of you Texas supporters, welcome to the 25th anniversary celebration of our good friend Daniel Miller and his activism for the betterment of us all, the betterment of humanity, the independence of Texas. This is going to be fantastic. It was a fantastic idea, and we've got people that have known Daniel for many, many years, including myself, that are going to be expressing their gratitude. No, this is not a celebration of personality. This is a celebration of a quarter of a century of hard work that Daniel Miller has dedicated himself to, something that he passionately believes in. We're celebrating that passion tonight, a passion that stirred a fire in the hearts of many of us who probably toyed with the idea of Texas independence only in your dreams. And then all of a sudden, here was this very charismatic, articulate, exceedingly intelligent man speaking to what you know to be true, that Texas should be an independent, sovereign republic. So don't look at the next couple of hours as some sort of sycophantic exercise. No. When someone of the depth and character, the personality of Daniel Miller, dedicates a quarter of a century to a movement for life, liberty, and prosperity, it should be celebrated. We celebrate our belief in this movement. We celebrate our faith in what our future holds by celebrating the work of Daniel Miller. Celebrate what he has done for us, compelling us, edifying us, encouraging us, educating us, leading us. And we have seen progress, and we know that the future holds even more. Maybe the best thing to do is just do a little short retrospective of Daniel via video over the years, from the very beginning. Get a flavor of how through these 25 years, his message has stayed consistent. There has been no contradiction. There's been no equivocation. There's been no compromise. There's been no surrender.
So let me begin by asking the all-important question, who here is ready for Texit? Thank you, good night. I want you to understand that back in 2005, when our organization, the TNM, was formed, it was hard to find people that would publicly vocalize their support for the independence of Texas like you folks just did.
But you see, there's another part of the Constitution that they took an oath to support. Article 1, Section 2. It is the portion of the Texas Bill of Rights that brings us here today. Article 1, Section 1 starts with these words, and if you believe them with all your heart, all your mind, and all your soul, I want to hear from you. But it says that all, not some, but all political power is inherent in the people. And all free governments are founded on their authority and instituted for their benefit. And the people have at all times the inalienable right to reform, alter, or abolish their form of government in such manner as they may think expedient. Do you realize what a burden that places on people like us? We're going in the building, folks. Because we have to show these people that there are folks here. There is a people that believe in freedom and independence. That there are still Texians left in Texas. And that we will do whatever. We will sacrifice whatever. We will spend whatever time, whatever resources are necessary to ensure that they, our elected representatives, give us what we want. Give us the vote for Texas independence.
Yes.
Absolutely. I will say this. Every one of you who came from all corners of Texas, who braved the weather, who braved the elements, who stood out here, some of you since 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock this morning, preparing, getting ready, getting your hearts and minds ready for what has to transpire from here on out. Know the importance of what it is we do. Not just today and not just tomorrow, but from here on out. Our message is quite simple. This rally is not an end. This rally is just the beginning. Some of us, it is the middle of the journey, but from this day forward, let the people, the would-be tyrants in the parliament, let them be on notice that we will not stop, we will not back down until we see Texas free and independent. But for one last time, I want to hear you guys scream at the top of your lungs for Texas. Let's give it up, folks.
And so here we are, at the beginning of it all, October 2nd, 2010, 175 years after the Texas Revolution was started, right here. Do we have that belief that will carry us forward? Do we? Do we have that belief? So, I have to tell you that William Barrett Travis is one of my heroes. And I'm going to do what he did. You see, because regardless of the circumstances over the past years, regardless of the circumstances, regardless of the adversity, regardless of everything else, I have held my post and I have done my duty. So folks, here's your decision. Right there, etched in the dirt. Not that I'm any William Barrett Travis. He was younger than I was. He was a younger man than I was, but I think no less committed to his duty and to his belief that all men should live free and that Texas should be free and independent. So there's your line. I don't mean it figuratively. I don't want this etched in your mind. I have to know when I leave Gonzales, who is going to be here to defend Texas independence with me? Who is going to be here and step across that line?
I started out across the line. Okay, well, how about this then? There you go.
So here we are on this side of the line. 175 years to the day that the first shots were fired in the Texas Revolution. I'm here to tell you that you are more than 18 able-bodied men. You are more than I can imagine. You're fantastic. You're spectacular. And while they try to drive you into the dirt, I don't want you to ever forget it. So as we go from here, as we leave here, I think it is time to send a message to the parliament of would-be tyrants that threaten to enslave us, that we have drawn a line here against the darkness, that we will no longer be subservient to a federal monster out of control, that there are able-bodied men and women that are ready for independence, and that we all collectively have a belief that Texas should be free and independent, and that we should all be free men and women. So saith one, so saith all. Thank you so much.
Can you believe that last little excerpt there was in 2010, drawing a line in the sand? Fantastic book, by the way, that you should pick up. I mean, it's a collector's item by now. But Line in the Sand, and of course, Texted by Daniel Miller, pretty much answers all the questions that some of you have about the future of Texas as a sovereign, independent republic. The best part of the book, of course, is that I'm in it. And the fact of the matter is, when we become a sovereign, independent republic, we're all going to be rich as Kuwaitis. Let's bring in two very valuable members of the Texas Nationalist movement. Let's bring in Daphne and Moore. Daphne and Nate, y'all come on in and talk a little bit with us. Welcome to the celebration. Say hi to all the Saints, Patriots, and Texians out there.
Well, hello, Claver, and hello to all the Saints and Patriots, as you like to call them, and we call them Texians. That's right.
That's right. Nate, Daphne, talk to us about the Texas Nationalist movement. Talk to us about the future, and talk to us about the importance of having a war chest.
A war chest is greatly important. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Daphne Armour, and I am the Chief of Staff at the Texas Nationalist Movement. I've been a member of the Texas Nationalists since 2008. So I've been here kind of since its infancy. We were founded in 2005, and I found Daniel just a few years after that and haven't left since then. So I've been around a long time, as you know, Claver, because you've been here a while with us as well. Nate, you've been in a little bit long too. If you want to introduce yourself, why don't you go ahead and do that?
Yeah, howdy everybody. I'm Nate Smith. I'm the executive director for the TNM, and yeah, I've been involved a few years after its founding as well. I had the opportunity to meet Daniel and Kara first through their radio station that supported Texas music artists and work with them on that project, and then discover Texas independence through them, and that this was a real option, and not only a real option, but the option and the solution for Texas. So it's been a very exciting, long journey.
Yes, it has, and I've worked with you. I've traveled with you. I talk to you almost daily. A lot of people don't know what goes on behind the scenes at the Texas Nationalist Movement. You guys know that we have a workforce all over the state of Texas. So we're used to talking to each other on these machines all the time. So it's kind of funny. But I used to live with down by where Karen and Daniel live at. I lived in that same vicinity, but I've since moved off to someone else. But of course, we still work closely every day. But you know, Nate, one of the reasons we're on here tonight, and one of the things I get to do as Chief of Staff, is I'm kind of overseeing fundraising right now. And so guys, tonight we're celebrating Daniel. And if Daniel would not have had the resolve that he has to keep going and to keep this in the forefront for all of us to learn about it, you know, we wouldn't even be here with you guys tonight. So we really want to celebrate Daniel. But you know, Daniel comes on here and talks to y'all a lot. Y'all don't see us a whole lot, but here's the deal. Daniel, you know, we're probably going to end up roasting him a little bit tonight. Don't you think so, Nate?
Maybe a little bit.
Well, what we want to do, guys, we didn't bake him a cake, although he would probably eat it if I did bake it for him, but I'm not close to him, so that didn't happen tonight. But what we're going to ask you to do is, this is a celebration. This is his 25th anniversary, and of course, the TNM was started in 2005. But if y'all see that super chat, if you're on YouTube, hey, why don't you send us a little bit of money, because that's what Daniel wants for his birthday tonight. He's probably not going to like me saying it, but it's okay. I'm going to say it anyways. What we want to do, instead of him getting gifts for himself, he wants everything to go to the organization. Guys, we do not have a war chest like you heard Claver talking about. You hear Greg Abbott talking about his $50 million war chest. That doesn't happen in the TNM. And all the money that we collect, we use for all the services, just like we're doing right now. The technology that we use in this organization costs a lot of money, doesn't it, Nate?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Tell us about some of the other things that we spend money on, Nate.
Well, I'll tell you one thing we do not spend money on, and that is a salary or anything for Daniel Miller. His 25 years in this organization has been volunteer When I mentioned we met through his radio station, he and his wife Kara both own that station, support Texas music, and that's a revenue source as well as other skills that he learned as a volunteer maintaining the radio station and through the TNM. He now does web work as well. So that's one thing that we don't spend money on, and it's not for him in particular, but we would like to add paid staff to the organization, and so that's something that we haven't had the luxury of yet.
And man, do we ever need paid staff. Guys, we have grown so much this year. It's absolutely crazy. And Nate and I would love to add some paid staff because we juggle a lot of plates. All of us that work behind the scenes, we juggle tons and tons of of plates every day, and that's one of the goals that we're going to be working for. And Nate, another thing that I always hear people saying about, and I'm watching the super checks, guys. Thank you, Wyatt. I saw your 50. Thank you, Donnie. I saw your 20. I know there were some more that came through earlier, and I'm sorry if I didn't catch your name, but it's going too fast over here and I can't see it. But thank you so much for that donation to the organization tonight in Daniel's honor. But Nate, one of the things that, I saw it a while ago, somebody posted, not enough people know about the Texas Nationalist movement. Well, we do the best we can, but what does that take? It takes money. Advertising costs money. I spent a whole lot of my career in advertising, and it's not cheap. And so the more money that we have that people donate to the organization, that's the more money that we can put going toward campaigns. So we have billboard campaigns running right now. I know if you go look, if you're in our Facebook group, you can see Daniel post a link to that, and it's showing you where some of our current billboards are running. We do some advertising with radio spots. We use a lot of social media advertising. But again, guys, none of that is free. It all costs money.
I'd say even sending out the emails that we send to all the supporters on our list, we spend nearly $1,000 a month just in our email program to be able to communicate with y'all.
And people don't usually know that even costs money. They don't know that just because our email list is so big, they don't know it costs us money to send those emails out.
It costs a lot of money maintaining the site, those sorts of advertisements on social media. Despite all the likes and followers that we have, you don't see a lot of what we send out unless we pay advertisements to get it out there. Mm-hmm. And so that is a huge thing for the organization. And then the other big impact you can make right now is around the petition signing. We need resources to be able to go out and collect more petition signatures. So Absolutely. One of the key things you can do is join a premium monthly membership with the TNM at $18.36 a month or more. Make a donation on the super chat. I saw another one come through from Beverly. Thank you very much. And if you'd like to make a large gift, it would be incredibly valuable to us. Be sure and send an email to Daphne after you've done that. We have some very special stuff coming up for large gifts. But yes, don't hesitate to go ahead and do that tonight.
Absolutely. Chris Powell, talk to me later and I'll take care of you. Thank you. Okay, Claver, I see you back up. Thank you, Beverly, for that super chat.
Daphne, Nate, thank you so much. They'll be back a little bit later on. And the truth of the matter is, Texians, is that in order for us to go to the next level, we have to have the bank account to be able to do it. Many of you have stated astutely that not enough Texans know that the TNM actually exists, and it takes cash. Let's just be give it to you straight, no chaser. It takes cash. And one of the shortcomings, I do believe, of the grassroots movement, the liberty movement in general, I am not indicting those of us who believe in Texas, but just the fact that, many of us don't have the wherewithal to just, to write a 5-figure check. If we want to raise $200,000 and, you got to get 10,000 people to give $20. And so, we need to go to the next level. And so in celebration of Daniel's 25 years of activism for the independence and freedom of Texans, if you can give a little donation tonight, let's do that, but make it habitual, because we do need to build that war chest. If we're going to be able to elect patriots to seats of servitude under the pink dome to get this thing all the way through to the finish line, well, we're going to have some cold hard cash. We got to stack paper. We need some cheesecake. Just giving it to you straight, no chaser. One of the guys that's a big supporter of the Texas nationalist movement, and been so for quite some time. I want to bring in Dave Roberts. He's also the publisher of Daniel's two fantastic books, Line in the Sand and Texas. Dave, good to see you again, my brother. How are you?
Claver, how are you? I'm doing great.
I'm blessed and highly favored. It's good to see you. Glad you can make it in. And the donations are rolling in. Here's another one. We got a couple of Benjamins. It's a good night, Dave. It's a good night to celebrate Texas independence, isn't it?
It is. Big congratulations to Daniel. The best thing we could do for Daniel is raise a bunch of money and get those petitions signed.
Dave, talk to us about the petitions. You brought something up that hasn't been mentioned at all yet. Why don't you brief the Texians on what's going on as far as the petition is concerned? I'm sure that some of the activists, some of the members of the advisory board that are going to be coming up later on in the celebration tonight over the next couple of hours are going to be touching on it as well. The importance of it, Dave Roberts.
Well, Daniel, thanks for Daniel because he did the research. This is the end around the Texas legislature and the weak-spined Texas legislature, even in the GOP, to get this thing on the ballot and get this referendum moved. So I know you're going to have a lot of details on this later, but we need volunteers with the petitions. Everybody needs to be carrying petitions around, learn how to do it, and get people to sign them. And then these 5-figure checks, I'm going to donate $1,000 right now.
Oh, okay. Glory to God.
Let's raise the stakes here a little bit. You either believe in Texas and the God-given right of self-determination, or you don't. And so give what you can because we need it. Daniel needs it. The organization needs it. Texas needs it. And my God, look what's happening in our country. We have a president that walked out on its military, left Americans stranded. What an embarrassment. And
it really is a cornucopia of calamity, Dave, isn't it? It really is. And they would like for us to believe that 81 million Americans, if they did vote for this incompetence in November of 2020, they're getting the government that they deserve because they should have known the history of those that are in power right now up in what I call the centralized government of Washington, Devil City. A blind man could have seen it. Ray Charles knew this because of their history, the ideology. We know it doesn't work. Dave, what I've always said and will continue to say, the only way out of this mess is out. The only way out is out for us, Dave. Do you concur?
I agree. And listen, okay, Trump's not coming back to save us. Okay, you saw what happened to Trump in his first term. It's just too embedded. DC is too corrupt. They stole an election from him. I mean, listen, I don't know how it could be any clearer. This is our only avenue. It's it. Trump's not going to save us. DeSantis not going to save us. You can't fix DC. It's unbroken. It's beyond repair. The only thing we can do is vote for independence. And Texas and the TNM are the leading organizations that make this happen. God bless Daniel Miller for the sacrifices that he has made, and the entire crew at TNM for getting us to this point. But we have to take over Austin, Claver, because it's just a mini DC.
How long have we been talking about that, Dave? You know, the defense of liberty begins in your own backyard. There is very little that a Texian can do about the insanity that ensues incessantly in Washington, Devil City. We have to rely on others in other states to agree with our principles, to agree with what we feel is the right way to govern a free people in order to make any types of changes at all in Washington. I believe that the roots are deep up there as far as corruption, the so-called deep state. It exists. But we can do something about Texas. Here in Texas, Texans can do something about Texas. We can take control as a people governed by our consent in Austin. We can do something about that. And Californians can't do anything about that. And North Carolinians can't do anything about that. And Virginians can't do anything about that. It is the clear purview of us as Texans, first generation and multi-generational Texans, we can decide how we wish to be governed because we have sole control over it, Dave. It's the only way to get some sanity and proper governance back in our lives, to be able to keep more of the fruits of our labor and continue to lift up the Lord the way these people here in Texas believe in. Dave.
Well, we have to get on our knees and we have to pray, Claver. And hopefully those prayers are going to lead folks to get in these legislators' face, because that's what it's going to take. And I'm not talking about violence, of course. I'm talking about they have to know that there are consequences for how they vote. They have to know there are consequences for not supporting Texas. And we are the silent majority out there, but we can't be silent any longer because our freedom is being taken away from us. It used to be an inch at a time. It's happening yards at a time now. And the Texas legislature, we can forget about D.C. We have to get involved in Austin. We have to take Austin back at the state capitol, and we got to raise money because money, unfortunately, is how it works. You got to have money to make any of this happen. And so I would just ask folks to look at their kids and look at their grandkids. And you want to, I look at my grandkids, Claver, and I say, what am I doing for them? For the future years when I'm gone, what am I doing? What is the legacy that we're leaving them? Are we going to leave them in this pile of crap that we call the United States federal government? Or are we going to do something about this? Everybody could do without an extra pack of cigarettes a day, a 6-pack of beer, whatever it is.
Happy
Okay.
Meal, whatever.
I mean, look, we had people that left their homes, their lives, their businesses, their families, their farms, and went out and fought for the Texas Revolution and to win independence. They put everything on the line. And all we're asking you to do is to get some signatures on a petition and reach deep into the pillows in your couch and dig out what you can dig out. And really, it's time. It's time to raise some serious money. We've been talking about this for years. And it's the only thing these guys understand. And so we gotta bring a war chest to the battle. If we don't bring a war chest to the battle, they're never going to look at us as serious. And the timing. Maybe this is a blessing in disguise, Claver, because the timing could be better.
Well, thanks so much, Dave, for laying down the gauntlet. Dave is going to throw 4 figures out there tonight. He's going to throw $1,000. He's done a whole lot more than that over the years. That's for sure. You can guarantee. I guarantee you that. But he's absolutely right. We need to be taken. Look, this is what we know. The polling data shows that when the question is asked to Texans, regardless of their political party affiliation, regardless of which ideology they subscribe to, they believe that we have a right of self-determination and that we should take the vote. But they've got to know that an organization is out here working competently towards that goal and that we are making progress. Because it's got, yes, word of mouth is important. I know you guys are chatting it up out there to all your friends and family that you are evangelizing for the purpose of Texas. But please consider being a monthly donor. Just, like Dave says, 10, 20 bucks a month, whatever. Can we build that up so that we can consistently budget and be able to attack the doubters, to attack the distractors, and to be able to distribute the truth about how positive Texas is, how prosperous we would be. Dave, I want to thank you so much. You got to move on, my brother. What a great conversation. You got to start it off good. You heated it up, my man. You heated it up.
God bless you, Claver. God bless Daniel and all the TNM. And let's go make this happen, folks. Couldn't happen soon enough.
Let's do it. That's Dave Roberts. Thanks so much. And pick up Texas. I think that puts that may put a nickel or two in his pocket as well. And we've had patriots who can't come on here live tonight, but they wanted to express their gratitude to Daniel, and they sent in some celebration tributes. Why don't we enjoy one of those right now?
First of all, Daniel, I'd like to say that 25 years of service to a cause is a calling from God. I want you to know how much we appreciate the way that you lead by example. And we know that in the end, the endeavor that you've set out on is going to come to fruition. And we thank you for everything.
Awesome. I don't know. I don't know who I don't know who the guy is. I don't know. Hopefully Daniel LaCara knows. I don't know. But obviously he's sincere about his gratitude towards Daniel, and he took the time to. And we've got some more of those. These celebration tributes. And we've got some luminaries as well. Right now, I want to bring in State Representative, friend of mine, known him since 2010, James White, and. Brother James, welcome to this celebration of 25 years. Daniel Miller working for Texas independence. And let me start off the top of the bat. I mean, come on. I can't wait. You know, I got to say it. Congratulations on your announcement for statewide office, candidacy of Agriculture Commission. But I knew you, bro, when you ran for state rep the very first time. Talk to us about when you met Daniel Miller and how this whole thing, you guys just got this relationship going to where when it came to filing legislation on a referendum for Texas independence, you were really the first one that filed any kind of language on that. James White, welcome.
Hey, thanks a lot, Claver. And let me send my blessings and greetings out to our mutual friend, Daniel. 25 years in anything, right? We would say is quite an accomplishment. Look, Claver, you know my district well. We're proud to represent about 170,000 Texans in Polk, Tyler, Jasper, Newton, Hardin counties. And in at least 1 to 2 of those counties, maybe 3, this has consistently been a plank in the county convention, Republican convention platform in the spring. But look, of course, there's some things we always know that's innate. We know it in our gut, but being here in the Texas legislature, having this opportunity, it has taught me that what Texas wants to do, it can do. All right. Where we have a will, we will make a way. And that's really all I saw about this movement. Okay. Everybody should want to be independent, right, Claver? I mean, that's like the ultimate of any human. So we were glad to partner with Daniel. I believe it was either my 2012 or 2014 session to start the conversation on, just asking Texans, do they want to vote? All right. And here's the ironic thing about this. We have Democrats in Austin or in DC, but we have Democrats that have been elected to Austin. They run to Washington, D.C. because they do not want a voting bill because they believe it's voter suppression. But if you ask me, the voting suppression is actually on them against Texans. So simply what Daniel and his organization and his followers and his compatriots, the only thing that they've asked is for a vote. And, that's the most we can do, or excuse me, that's the least we can do in any type of government that has the practices the democratic principle.
The difficulty in getting this type of legislation over the finish line. You were the first one that offered some language on this a couple of sessions ago. And it seems like there was a lot of reticence. I mean, it was really sort of a down power line. But then you started seeing across the state those that really didn't shy away from it. Even in my 2020 primary campaign, they tried to do a gotcha question on me about Texas independence, and I ended up almost getting a standing ovation because so many Texans do believe that we at least have a right to vote on it, whether you believe we should be independent or not. What we see across party lines, Democrat, Republican, Independent, that the majority of Texans, a vast majority of Texans, believe that we have a right for the vote. Why the reticence, do you believe, under the pink dome to this idea, even if it was non-binding like your language called for?
Yeah, well, look, this is what I've come to find out, Claver. the people are always ahead of the politicians. Okay, we're always trying to catch up to the people. But on this particular issue, Claver, we shouldn't be very surprised, right? We're on the cusp of very hyperinflation. If you're on fixed income, you probably think you're being hyperinflation right now. We have our troops being, disrespected and demoralized in around the world. We have a border that's more porous than a big hole in the bottom of a bucket. And so, the people have had their businesses locked down and locked out for 12 months. It really shouldn't be a surprise that people want to talk about doing something different. So to your point though, Claver, and you know this as well, the people are always ahead of the elected officials. The politicians are always trying to run to catch up with the people.
Again, we get the excuse that when it comes to what's happening on the border, it's a federal responsibility.
Yes.
And yeah, and oh man, have I witnessed you march up the ranks in Austin? Kind of knew that you would. One of the
but check this out, Claver. I mean, good ideas, bad ideas, good perspective, bad perspective. Our appropriations committee in the House had, for several hours, had a very, very good hearing on border security. And let me tell you why it was a good hearing. And it's about some appropriations to put on the border, obstructions, walls, more law enforcement troops, all of that.
Right.
But it was about us. It was about us taking care of it, not going on and on and on, talking about what Congress isn't doing and what that, look, it's like I told a press person today when they asked me, well, what if Washington, D.C. passes a voting rights bill? What does that have to do with your look? I said, look, I'm not concentrating on Washington, D.C. I've been elected to the Texas legislature. I'm conscious of what's going on in Washington, D.C. I don't have a problem talking with Cornyn or Cruz or my Congressman Babbitt, but my focus is here. And today, when I heard, some people were saying some whack stuff, got it. But it was Texans talking about Texas and Texans handling Texas business. You know how your daddy would say, don't worry about what's going on next door. Take care of your house, okay? And it was a very good hearing, okay? And so if you look at any challenge Texas had in its history, Claver, it's always been about Texas taking care of it. The Texas Revolution, we've always had border crisis, right, Claver?
Yes.
It was Texas sending the Texas Rangers to take care of it. Okay, so we shouldn't be surprised about that. So this is why I love sitting down, conversating with Daniel, listening to him talk about the Texas vision, okay? And I'm just so proud of him being in the foxhole for 25 years.
James, thank you so much for your friendship on behalf of Daniel, Kara, everybody in the Texas Nationalist movement. Daphne.
Don't forget my constituent, Daphne.
She's a mess, man. Daphne's a mess. You have to love her. You have no choice in the matter.
Yeah, she's good people, man.
You can't. I mean, you have to love her. You can't. I mean, my goodness. Whatever. That's it's no choice in the matter. James, thank you so much for stopping by, man. We really appreciate it. I know you're busy. You're in the middle of another special session. Maybe at another time we can talk more about that now that you've become the chair of the Homeland Security Committee. And let's talk about that, especially on the border issue and this assault that we're under, James, via the Rona. Okay, we're being assailed because of the border invasion by the Rona. Okay, so let's talk about that later too.
Real quick, Claver. What I think is going on is we're being destabilized.
Yeah,
this is being destabilized, and
which we're under attack. We're under attack, and we don't have the ability, being part of the union, to defend ourselves. This is a primary argument for Texas, because Texans would defend ourselves, and we would not be under assault. We would not be being attacked via germ warfare, biological warfare, if Texans were in charge. That's just the bottom line.
That's right. Hey, we'll catch up soon, bro.
Love you, my man. Bye-bye. All right. Thank you. So, hey, the chat is busy. It's a beautiful thing. And keep those donations rolling in. This is a celebration / fundraiser, because we do want to be able to evangelize the gospel of Texas. Texas is good news. It is a gospel. It is a message of life, liberty, and prosperity. I'm just telling you right now, do you understand that we could virtually eliminate poverty in the state of Texas if we simply floated our own currency? I mean, think about the things that we would have under our power. An independent republic with no income tax. An independent sovereign republic with no corporate tax. An independent sovereign republic with no property tax. And we wouldn't have to have those things, especially when you have your own stock market, your own credit market, your own currency floated on the Forex, when you have your own banking system, when West Texas Intermediate crude is being traded somewhere here in Texas, when cotton is being traded somewhere here in Texas, when we have the power to negotiate our own trade agreements. Are you kidding me? For the sake of your back pocket and your bank account, get on the Texas train, for crying out loud. What is the delay? We've got some more tribute videos. Here's another one.
Hey, my name is Travis Queen. I'm from Lake Jackson, Texas. I'm the District 17 Director of the TNM. It's amazing to be part of this organization, and I came to know Daniel Miller just working through the organization from the earlier part of this year. A great guy, someone that has relentless amount of energy and tenacity towards our fight, Texas independence. It's unmatched, to say the least. I'm not sure if I can even match it, and I'm 29, so that just tells you a little bit of something. But I just want to say thank you, sir, and congratulations, sir, on 25 years of sacrifice and dedication to our fight for Texas independence. God bless you, sir, and God bless Texas.
God bless Texas indeed. Travis McQueen, District 17 Director. Hey, am I right about that? Am I right about that, Nate, Daphne? The districts are comprised based on the Texas senatorial districts. Is that right? Is that how that works? Yes, thank you, Miss Daphne. Yes, thank you, Nate. They're keeping me in on the rails here. That's very good. And the Saints and Patriots, the Texians, sent these tribute videos in, and we need to play them.
Hey, Daniel, Rob Burgess here, Lakeway, Texas. And as you know, Senate District 25 Director for the Texas Nationalist Movement. I have to say, this is one of those video testimonials that I really look forward to making. 25 years, my man, what can I say? 25 years of dedication to Texas independence, the state of Texas, and the citizens of Texas. I am so inspired by your tenacity. You know, if you look up the word tenacity in the dictionary, I know your picture is right there. You are not a quitter. And it's always been very inspiring to me what you do for the state and the citizens and the people that are around you. I've only worked with you briefly, but I have been quite impressed with you and Kara and all that y'all have done for the state. First time I saw you speak in New Braunfels, I was absolutely blown away by your enthusiasm and your honesty and your determination to drive towards Texas independence. really make a difference for the citizens of Texas and for the state in general. It's an honor to work with you and the other members of the Texas Nationalist movement. And I just want you to know that my thoughts and prayers are with all of us as we advance towards Texas independence. And I look forward to you leading us into that realm. Thank you again, Daniel, for all that you do. Your friend, Rob. Cheers to you, and cheers to the 25 years of incredible efforts that you've made.
Celebration of personality or whatever. Everybody that's coming on here and participating in this celebration, in this tribute, they recognize the character that Daniel possesses. They recognize his work ethic, his dedication, that it ain't about him. It's not about him being popular. It's about the independence of the greatest piece of real estate God ever created, called Texas. And and I'm throwing Israel in there too. I'm just, maybe I'm biased. Maybe I'm a little partial, being fifth, sixth generation Texan or whatever, but I think that the real estate of Texas is a greater land of milk and honey than Israel. Look, I'm a Texan. I have a right to be cocky. And you know why? Because we're Texans and everybody else wishes they were. I can't get no amens out there. I don't know. I can't even get no virtual amens. Look at this one right here. I'm moving to Texas from Washington State next month for anti-communist reasons. Texas are bust. And we've gone to some of these town halls that Daniel has had. I remember one we had up in Conroe, and one of the attendees really was upset about all the Californians that are moving into Texas. And there were some Californians there at that town hall meeting that stood up, and they stood up for themselves. They defended themselves. And they said, yeah, we're from California. We're here to get away from it, and we ain't voting like that anymore. We want to be Texans. Here's this guy from Washington State says he's moving down. You guys know it. You've driven down from the DFW area towards Austin and San Antonio, or down I-45 towards H-Town. You lose count of the number of U-Hauls you pass by. You can't get a U-Haul in California. You can't get a U-Haul in Michigan or Pennsylvania or Massachusetts. Where they're coming? To the real land of milk and honey, Texas. Hey, I want to bring in Regina. Regina, where are you? Let me get Regina. Is Regina there? Regina, are you there? Quit messing around, Regina. And I want to bring in Tom. I want to bring in Tom and Regina. There's Tom.
Hey, Claver, how you doing?
I'm working hard, bro.
I know.
I'm working hard. I'm working hard. I need a refreshment. That's what I need. How are you, Don? How's it going, Tom?
Busy.
I think Regina, are you audio? Is that your?
I'm having trouble with my camera.
Oh no! You can't see your pretty face.
Yeah, I got all dressed up, makeup, hair, everything, and now my camera doesn't work.
Technology. Well, we're the ones that are missing out. Regina, Tom, you guys have been in this for a while. Ladies first. Regina, when did you start in the Texas Nationalist movement? How did you meet Daniel? How did he rank you into this?
Well, I believe it was in 2007. I met Kara and Daniel through their Radio Free Texas. And I'm trying to remember when I actually joined the TNM. I think it was 2008, 2009.
And you've had a bunch of roles, right?
Yeah, I've started, as a volunteer, a member, county coordinator, volunteer director. The list goes on and on. I'm now the membership director.
Cook, janitor, sweeper, whatever needed to be done.
Yep.
How many miles have you traveled for the sake of the TNM, Regina? How many miles? Just estimate. How many times have you circumnavigated the globe for TNM?
I would think probably maybe 2-3 times around the globe. I mean, it's a lot of miles, a lot of time, even just, working, because most of us work at home. And so you'll see me 2-3, sometimes 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm still doing TNM stuff. So,
Hey, do me a favor, will you, Regina? Before I switch over to Tom real quick, can you talk to me about Kara a little bit? Because I mean, it's a celebration of Daniel and everything, but they're husband and wife.
Well, Kara
They are
is
one flesh. They work together. I mean, can you just talk to us? Because Kara needs to be celebrated too.
Yes, she does. She is my very best friend. And I can remember, I think it was, try not to get emotional because
you can get emotional. It's okay.
They mean a lot to me. But it was back in 2016 at the GOP convention where, we got the floor debate on the Texas independence. And if it wasn't for Kara behind the scenes, giving me the pep talks and telling me you can do this, getting up there, because I believe back then I was the county chair for DeWitt, and I still wasn't real, I was better talking in front of people, but being at the convention, that's a big audience. I think it was 4,000 or 5,000 people, and
or more,
yeah. And so, Kara, she calmed me down, told me everything I needed to do, had everything ready for me, had people there, with me to keep me focused. And, Daniel, even we went outside and we wrote a whole speech in case I was the one that got up to the mic before anybody else. And then at the last minute, everything changed, and we just did it off the cuff.
Just winged it.
Yeah. and sure as I'll get out, the first one that was called was me. And thankfully, Alan Vera was there with me as well, thanks to Kara. And, it's just, if she wasn't there, I don't know that I could still be doing the things that I do.
It was a defining moment, Regina. It was a historical moment. I mean, literally, the Texas GOP state convention was debating to add into their platform a call for a binding referendum on Texas independence. It was the most fevered, fervent, emotional, passionate debate of that entire convention. And the majority of the delegates at that convention, how that vote ended, were not happy. The majority were not happy. I say that with all knowing and conviction. And you were there, Regina, and it was because you were all part of that. Tom, were you there too for that? Tom, where's Tom? Did Tom drop off? There he is. Where did Tom go? Tom, you there? Where did he go? Did he freeze? I think
maybe my camera trouble was rubbing off.
Well, I see him, but he looks like he's frozen. Yeah, Daphne. I think he froze. I think he's going to have to. There he is. There he is. He's back.
Yeah.
There you go, Tom. You're frozen
for a half hour, and then it drops out on me. I got into this because somebody, and I can't remember who, about 2011 or so, gave me a copy of Line in the Sand, Daniel's first book. And I read it, and I called him, and we talked, and first position he gave me was a county coordinator down here in Brazoria County. And, worn a few hats since then. And now last year he asked me to set up the Take Texas Back campaign to try to get some of our people elected to office. And I accepted that request from him, and it's turned out to be more than I expected. But the good thing about it is, and I think pretty much everybody on the leadership team would say this, if we run into an issue, we've always got Daniel there to fall back on to ask him a question. And he's always been there when I needed something. Am I on, or am I talking about? Okay. All right. Claver, did you have something else you wanted to ask, or? All right. Yeah, the
Take Texas Back campaign.
Pardon?
The Take Texas Back campaign. Drill down on that. Some people are hearing about that for the very first time.
All right. Daniel asked me to try to put together a program where we could run a slate of candidates, essentially a political party without being a political party, with all of the garbage in the election code that goes with that. Right now, we're in the process of vetting. I think we've got about 55 applications right now, and we'd like to see a field of, I'd like to hope to have a field of 200 candidates this time.
Okay, so you're talking about at all levels.
Yes, sir. Everything from state senate down to, I got somebody that wants to run for justice of the peace in one county.
Right, there you go. There you go. Any sheriff candidates?
No, I haven't had any applicants for that yet.
Okay, but school board, city council.
School board, like I said, JP, a lot of candidates, a lot of applicants that want to run for legislative offices. I've seen some of them on the chat here tonight. We're going through, we're vetting them up as quick as we can. And one of the things, Claver, I know you ran for office, and so did Daniel, and so did probably quite a few other people on here. The parties don't help candidates, particularly ones that aren't part of their club. And most of our people are running for the first time. And, like I had a talk with a woman the other night, and Tom, I'd love to run, but I don't know how to go about it, how to get started. And that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be training up their staff, providing certain services to them, what we can, and acting as advisors, consultants. I don't like to use the word consultants, because when I say that, most people think there's going to be an invoice coming with it. We're going to be advisors.
Well, essentially what's going on is you're building a slate of candidates. And I want to remind everyone that's joining us for the celebration tonight. And once again, thank you for tuning in, joining, and hanging tough with us, because we're having a really good time and we're learning a lot and we're edifying each other. But this is also a fundraiser, like Daphne and Nate were telling you. And some folks have already donated. Dave Roberts, supporter of Texas, has donated $1,000. Like to see somebody try to match that. Come on in. The water's fine. But in order to run this slate of candidates, which really hasn't been done since 2012, when we had Stampede Texas 2012, this magnitude of building a slate around the idea of Texas at all levels of governance, not just at the legislative level, but we need infiltration at all levels. Folks, that's going to take some finances. We're dreaming big. We have a big vision here. We're Texans after all. This is kind of like what we do. It's in our DNA. And so as Texans, we've got a big vision here. We are seriously talking about putting a dent into the plutocratic power structure of Texas governance here. This is what you're getting involved with, Saints and Patriots. This is what you're plugging into. This isn't a country club here. This isn't a bridge club, a poker club. We're here to advance life, liberty, and prosperity, to see the manifestation of Texas becoming an independent sovereign republic. And we understand it's going to take political muscle to do that. We've got to have those in seats of servitude that are sold out on the idea of Texas independence. This is what Tom is heading up. Am I right about that, Tom? Is that sort of the vision of it? That's kind of the plan. This is kind of what we want to do, the objective, correct? This is the
Yes,
mission.
sir. And I'll throw in a real quick plug. Anybody that I said we've got about 50 some candidates right now. Anybody that's interested, go to tnm.me/run for office and fill out your application, and we'll start getting you through the vetting process.
Right, and don't be shy. Look,
you don't have to have run before. We're going to help you with that.
And we don't. And your occupation is of no concern. If you're a teacher, if you're a mechanic, if you're a server, if you work in retail, but if you have a heart to serve and your compass is pointed towards liberty, consider it and put in an application. Okay, and the TNM is going to build the toolbox of resources for you to be able to be as successful as you can in your campaign. And ultimately, we believe that could be victory, if on no other issue than Texas itself. You being known as a pro-Texas candidate is going to draw some attention to you. That's a good strategy, I think, Tom.
That's what we're trying to emphasize with all of our candidates, that's going to be a defining issue, and it's going to, if nothing else, it's going to put pressure on the established candidates when, like in the governor's race, the three challengers have all come out and said that they would support a Texas bill if it got, that they would listen to the will of the people. The only one that hasn't is Governor Press Release. He's going to have this is, if they stick at that with that point, he's going to have to get off the fence eventually.
He's going to have to, everyone heard what happened when the cruise missile announced that he would be backing King Gregory. He got roundly booed. Tom, thanks so much, my friend. Thank you so much for what you're doing. And of course, now you're going to be giving updates on the campaign, correct? You're going to continue. The communications shop has been continually engaging the membership about this opportunity to be a public servant, correct?
Absolutely.
Fantastic. That's Tom Belmore. Regina, thank you so much, my dear. Thank you. All right. Tom, thank you so much, man. Hey, I tell you what, let's do couple of more tributes, video tributes. Some of the Patriots sent in a couple of video tributes that they recorded themselves. Here's a couple of more to enjoy.
I want to thank you, Daniel Miller, for your insight and dedication for the last 25 years. I was devastated when Biden was announced the winner. I became fearful, anxious, depressed, knowing what was to come, and hearing about Texas, the TNM, and the pleasure of meeting you, Daniel Miller, brought me hope and purpose. So thank you very much.
Hello, this is Mary Matthews. I live in Belleville, and I'm here to say congratulations to Daniel for his 25 years of dedicated service to getting Texas independence. I've known Daniel as I'm the district director for Senate District 18, and I've been a member of TNM since January, so it's been a short time. But Daniel, I so admire your work, also Kara's. Anyway, just wanted to tell you congratulations and keep up the good fight. There are a lot of us here fighting with you now. Take care. Bye. Congratulations.
Fantastic. And joining me right now, Don. How you doing, man?
Yes,
Don here. Hey, is
Man,
Carl? I don't see Carl. I don't see him. I mean, he may be on audio too, but I don't see him. I wanted Carl in here too. Look like this may be just you and the two of us, Don. Maybe I'd have to
we can
tag
do
team.
that. We've done it
We
before.
can do that. Yep. Hey, Don, let everybody know what your role is first of all in the TNM.
I'm the senior district director for TNM. If you want to know how that fleshes out, basically I mentor and help all the district directors in the state of Texas that we have get their job done and answer their questions and manage that. That's primarily what I do. You know, we have 31 Senate districts here in the state. We've filled about 17 of the districts. So hint, hint, you know, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Come on, people. I need people to step up in some of these districts and you know, be the spear point for our cause in those particular areas. So all you need to do is go on the website.
We need 31, right? We need all 31 filled out, right, Don?
We do. We really do. Now, what's been really interesting is that we've got district directors who have been, you know, not only managing their own districts, but they've been kind of helping out in some of these districts that don't have anybody in them yet. And so that, you know, that's a huge help to us. And sometimes they'll actually run into people as they're traveling and recommend them, you know, my way for district director positions. And so that gives us people that we can start vetting and looking at. So that's key also. But yeah, we need to have representatives in every stinking county in Texas. You know, I'm still I'm still working this petition campaign, and this thing is incredibly important for the team. I mean, not only are we going to force the major dominator in Texas to recognize that there's a question of sovereignty and independence for Texas, but we're going to give a place for people to go and actually their will whether we should reassert our status as an independent nation. They can vote up or down on that. That's the cool thing about this. And of course, if we can give them a slate of candidates that's listed right there on that same piece of paper that they're voting to have an independent Texas for, that we've got people that'll actually go to Austin and do that. Huge, very huge. So we've got a really neat opportunity that's taking place right in front of us. History is being made whether people realize it or not, and that's that's huge. That being said, CPCs. Got an echo.
Much you, man.
Wait a minute.
Got a little feedback there, Carl.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, beautiful.
I can't
All
hear
right.
myself.
We can hear you, man.
That's good.
We hear
That's
you,
good.
Carl.
I can't hear anybody because I just muted
Just
my.
turn it down.
I just muted
Yeah,
my volume on my computer, and I've got my volume down on my phone here, so I can see you, and I can't hear you now. What fun!
Okay, so Carl, tell us your role in the TNM.
Well, my role in the TNM, I started out as a county coordinator in Tarrant County, and now I live in San Antonio. I'm the I used to be the Bexar County coordinator, but that went by the wayside. I run the Alamo Memorial March. I'm the captain of the Alamo Guard.
Oh, okay, stop right there and tell everybody what you guys do on a monthly basis, because I think I went to the very first one and it was moving. What do you got? What is the Guard? What is the March? Tell the people, so that I bet you there's a bunch of TNM members out there, or those who are contemplating becoming a member of the TNM, that would be interested in participating in what really has become a hallowed ceremony.
What we do on a monthly basis on the second Saturday of every month, which we've done for 9 years, more than that. used to march completely around, but the fact that they've got construction and what do you call it, the Alamo I don't know, they reconfigure the Alamo or whatever.
Reimagine, whatever they want to call it.
Going on
Reimagine.
down there, and so we're now, instead of walking all the way around, walk down Houston Street, down to the plaza, down in front of the Alamo. We carry a wreath and wreath at the front door of the Alamo. Geez, I'm frozen on the screen there. Anyway, we lay a wreath, hold a moment of silence for the deceased, as well as the Alamo itself as the shrine to Texas independence. When that, I return to the group that's marching with me. We turn and go back in the direction we came, because that's the way things work out at this point in time. We stop at the cenotaph, get adjacent to that, and proceed to pay our respects at the cenotaph, because basically the cenotaph is the deceased offender's headstone. There's no deceased offenders graves on the Alamo grounds there, and such. The case, that pretty much is their stone. It's an unmarked nave. So we hold our a bit of respect to the cenotaph, and then we finish up and carry on back to where we started from and complete the march. We start at 7 o'clock. We're usually done by, and if you want to come down and participate, come on down and participate. We gather between 6:30 and 7 p.m. at the northeast corner of the Alamo grounds, with the Alamo Rangers parking lot. However, the parking lot is going to be unavailable to the next 18 months, and the Alamo Rangers are losing their parking lot. They're going to be doing some more construction work down there.
So, Carl,
anyway.
so let me ask you this.
You want to come on down, because what we have you.
Well, the time that I went, what I noticed is that law enforcement respects the ceremony. They understand exactly what we're doing. We're honoring our martyrs. We're honoring that hallowed ground. Those that participate, you're wearing your TNM T-shirt, Texas flag, Texas Independence flag, come and take it flag. I mean, and the wreath is laid, and the law enforcement there, they don't give us any problems whatsoever. They understand that the membership is there in honor of what happened there. That we maintain that is hallowed ground as far as Texans are concerned, and international organizations need to keep their hands off. I think he's muted.
I think you're right.
There we go. I'm back.
All right.
The Alamo Rangers, before I go down there that evening, and just find out if there's anything going on that I need to be aware of, because there's been a couple of BLM marches and things like that back last year, and they didn't want to get us hooked up in the middle of one of those, and I didn't think that would be a cool idea to do either, so we postponed it until Sunday. But when we show up, they're happy as a clam that we're there to do this, and they're all for us coming down there and laying the wreath, honoring the defenders as well as the Alamo itself, because nobody else does this. We are the only organization that honors the defenders, the Alamo. The only time you see a wreath down there is at like Veterans Day, 4th of July, Flag Day, things of that nature. But we don't. So we're the only ones that do that. Nobody else does. Nobody pays attention to the Alamo and the Defender.
Hey, listen, San Antonio is not a bad town to visit. They got some really good food and stuff. And so for all of you, folks that like to do weekend road trips, you really ought to plan one second Saturday of the month so that you can participate in the March of Honor at the Alamo. It's moving. It's awesome. It'll be good for your soul. And, and it will demonstrate to those that are out there acting like it's a carnival grounds or something, like it's a state fair or something, like it's SeaWorld downtown or something, and teach them how the Alamo should be approached the way that the TNM does it. So, we've got Don and Carl here. Don, first of all, once again, we've got to get these district directors. We're about halfway there, right, Don?
Yes, that's correct. We've got about 17 district directors right now. We need to get the others.
We got to get 14 more. Is what if I got my government school math correct? Is that right, Don?
I believe you're correct. Yes.
All right, and then Carl is doing the march. But before I let you go, Don, take a few seconds, just open up your heart towards Daniel and Kara, and then Carl, when Don is done, why don't you do the same before we let you guys go?
Thank you. I appreciate that, because I've been thinking here that, all this stuff that, that I'm doing and involved in now, is directly related to Daniel Miller and Kara. They have both been tremendous support to me in my growth and advancement in the TNM. I started out as a county coordinator and have moved forward. Daniel has been there every step of the way. Matter of fact, I got involved in TNM because I heard him speak in Tyler, Texas, and I was fired by that talk about the fact that we can be an independent, self-governing nation, and that inspired me. Daniel has done tremendous amounts of mentoring. He's always been there for me. I consider him one of my very best friends. This tribute to him tonight is, I think, overdue in one respect, because he has been in the trenches, as we said, years, and he does this from his heart, from his passion. And so, Daniel, thank you very much for all that you've done for TNM, for Texas, and for me personally. Over to you, Carl.
Okay, well, I have known Daniel for 1,000 years. We have worked together in Texas independence for practically forever, and knows more about Texas and Texas history than anybody else I know. And anybody that asks me about anything, talk to Daniel Miller. He knows more about it than I do, and I know a whole lot, because I've learned a lot from talking to Dave time. And so, yeah, for being who you are, what you do, because it inspires me a bunch, and you get.
He froze again.
Rock. Well, I'll think I'm stuck there again. What fun.
Claver, looks like Carl's freezing up there on us. Again, I want to make a pitch for CPCs. We've got a petition campaign that's happening right now. CPCs are instrumental in making this thing work. We need 1,000 of them. I think the last count I saw was 315, 325. So we need to, if you folks haven't gone online and done the CPC training so that you can collect signatures, please do that. Even if all you do is collect signatures from your sphere of influence, just maybe a page or 2 pages, that probably will be people that we may never get to, that you have access to that we don't. So please, by all means, go on and do that. Become a CPC. We've got some good people out there in the field that are doing marvelous things with collecting these signatures, but many hands make light work. So please go and do that. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Don. Really appreciate what you do for us, man. You're fantastic. Lord Jesus bless you. Hey, how about a couple of more tribute videos? Some of the friends and supporters and those who really appreciate Daniel from around the state took the time to just put together a few seconds of thanks to Daniel and Kara.
My name is Dean Ross, and I am your District 24 District Director. I would like to say congratulations to Daniel on 25 years of believing in Texas when nobody else did in the beginning. When I found the TNM, I was in a place in my life where I didn't know what I could believe in anymore. And Daniel, through his speeches and his videos, has truly brought me back to a place where I knew that I had something to fight for my family. Daniel, congratulations on 25 years from everybody in my family and Senate District 24.
Hey, Daniel, it's Earl Davis. I live in Stikes, Texas. And when I first known you, just from all the websites that I've seen, it's like, wow, this is impressive. And then I was honored to meet you personally when we had that training down there in Buffalo, just shortly after I joined. Daniel, you're real. And you have a real passion for what your life's work has become. And your passion is infectious. And I've caught it. I just want to say thank you for your dedication, for your 25 years, or quarter of a century, however you want to look at it, to this worthy cause. It's because of you that we're making history. The nation of Texas is indebted to you, and so am I. Just remember, Texas first, Texas forever. Daniel, we love you. We love what you're doing. Thank you again. God bless you.
Just a bunch of real good people. No matter where you go in the state of Texas, that's what you're going to run into. Rock solid, good people. And when you talk about heroes underneath the pink dome, they're an endangered species. One of the things that we've learned becoming politically astute is you don't put your trust in a human being. You don't leverage your salvation through a human being. You don't entangle yourself into a cult of personality. But you have discernment to be able to recognize the good guys, the good gals from the bad guys and the bad gals. There's this guy by the name of Kyle Biederman out of the Hill Country. He's a state representative. And I can truly say he's one of the good guys. And although we do not engage in cults of personality, we do express our gratitude, our appreciation when someone truly self-identifies through actions that they are a proponent, an activist of life, liberty, and prosperity. That would be Kyle Biederman, State Representative Kyle Biederman. He joins us right now in this 25-year celebration of Daniel Miller and his quest for Texas independence. Kyle, my main man, welcome back. Man, hadn't talked to you in a while. Good to see ya.
Oh, Claver, man, what an awesome time tonight, and I hope everyone can see me and everyone can hear me right now.
You got it. We got you 5x5, brother.
Well, so I had a couple of meetings tonight. I ran home. I'm on my phone. I couldn't get on the computer, but hey, it doesn't matter. What's important is that we support Texas National Movement and everything they're doing, but most importantly, the state of Texas. I mean, we are under assault in so many ways. I was at the Capitol yesterday, and supposedly we had some Democrats show up laughing as if they did nothing wrong for the last 47 days, and our speaker just lets them walk in and waltz in like nothing ever happened. And this is ridiculous. I mean, this country, this state has got to stand up for the values and the principles that this country was founded on, and that's not what was happening. So I'm just glad to be on here tonight to let you all know that there are people in the Capitol, not many of us, but there are people in the Capitol that are standing up for what's right, and we're not going to go silent with what's going on.
Yeah, but you're an endangered species, Kyle. You know it. This is one of the reasons why the TNM is making a Herculean effort to recruit candidates and basically run a slate from here on out till the Lord Jesus comes back to continue to get more liberty-driven candidates sworn into office, to get you some help, some reinforcements up there under the pink dome, because we certainly hope you ain't going anywhere anytime soon. But how did it happen, Kyle? I mean, how did it happen? You and Daniel coming together, and then y'all got this synergy. I mean, the first time I met you, it was up in Fort Worth. There was a Shark Tank kind of thing that Julie McCarthy and the Stick were doing at the time, and you and Bunny came up, and that's the first time I met you guys. But how did it all work out from that point where you were really a first-time candidate running for state rep, going up against a really entrenched Trousian rhino who was just awful, to where you are now, to where you really have the gratitude of a lot of Texans, and then the synergy of you and Daniel working together. How did that come about? Kyle Biederman.
Well, Claver, you know what's, I'm glad you brought that up, because at that time, I was never in politics. I didn't know what I was doing. All I knew was I had the values of the majority of Texans who have fought since the Alamo all the way to today, fought for these values and independence and freedom and liberty that built Texas. But I didn't know anything about politics. I didn't know about the legislature. But I remember walking and meeting you in the parking lot, and I was so impressed with you. And I appreciate you letting me come on your show a number of times. But, Daniel, Claver, nothing's changed. Nothing's changed because I haven't changed. And I'm not going to let the Capitol or the Pink Dome or all the lobbyists or all of the special interest groups change me, because I know what's right. I'm comfortable with who I am. But, when I met Daniel last session, I didn't know really about the Texas National Movement. I didn't really know that much about Texas independence. I just assumed Texas was conservative and Texas believed in Texas values. But when I got there, my first session, I recognized right away that that's not what it is. And listening to Raging Elephant helped me tremendously, because what you said was the absolute truth. I didn't think it was that bad. It's that bad. And there's so few of us up there that truly believe in the values that built Texas. And, fighting for the Alamo, I didn't know much about the Alamo, but once I learned what was happening, I took that on. And then the same thing happened when I met Daniel, when it came to Texas and Texas independence. There is no doubt that is the direction that Texas needs to move. And the country is looking to Texas to lead. And that's what we need to do. And again, Claver, I'm just really appreciative of you and all you've done all these years. You helped me tremendously. And I'm just grateful to be where I am right now. And I am not going to give up.
Well, that's good. And hey, man, thanks. Thanks for the props and all of that, Kyle. But just doing what the Lord called me to do. And everybody here has a fantastic testimony of what Daniel was able to do to help them to see the vision, understand it, get them across the finish line. But the thing that I knew about you, Kyle, from the very beginning was that your heart was open to it, because your compass was properly pointed towards liberty the whole time. And you're looking out, you always had this Texas first type of mentality, even when you were running for the very first time. You understood that federalism had evaporated. You understood that. It looked like to me that when you first threw your hat in the ring, you wanted to try to revive federalism to some extent. But then at some point, it seemed like you got a revelation that the only way out is out. And if we really truly want to have the prosperity that God has promised us, we're being hampered right now. I mean, it's being abridged. Our ability to prosper is being abridged right now, being overtaxing and sending way too much of our share to Washington, Devil City. And somewhere, man, you just came, it got down into your bone marrow that Texas was the way to go. Is there an explanation to that? Is something that you can tell us about that?
Well, when Daniel first presented it to me, I just said yes. I mean, same thing with running for office. I had never been in politics, but when it was presented to me, I just said yes. And that's what it is. You look at Davy Crockett. He came to Texas. He was here for less than 1 month in San Antonio at the Alamo, less than a month when he died for Texas independence. And when you look at these men and women that have given their lives and their fortunes and everything they have for a greater ideal than themselves, that's really what it's all about. And this whole country is looking to us here in Texas. What are we going to do this special session? So I was at the Capitol yesterday, and we're at the back mic fighting for consequences for the Democrats not being here, fighting for, hey, we've got to get our bills passed. We got to get this conservative legislation that the state of Texas has voted for. They didn't vote for the Democrats' policies. They voted for the Republican Party platform policies, and we got to get those passed. And that's what we're fighting for right now, and it doesn't stop. And I'm going to say it again, Claver. You don't take it as if I'm just trying to say nice things about you. I'm telling you right now, you were right years ago. And when I first started listening to you, everything you said is coming true right now.
I'm an apostle. I'm not a prophet, Kyle, but
I don't know about that, man. It's about the same thing.
Hey, Kyle, I mean, you took our breath away this session with what you were doing. Of course, the Texas Referendum Act, HB 1359, but then the border wall, standing at the back microphone, trying to gum up the works so the purple and blue legislation doesn't get to the governor's desk. Really took our breath away on that. But talk to us for a moment about the condition that we're in. You talked about that we're under attack. We are. We're being invaded at the southern border. It's germ warfare that we're having to endure. I'm of the opinion, and no one has to associate themselves with the opinion that I'm about to express, but I do believe that Biden, Harris need to be impeached, convicted, and removed from office for negligible homicide, for all the deaths that have been suffered because of the border invasion and the 25%, if not more, infectious rate of those that are being released into our community. We're under assault by the border invasion. And Texas it seems to always be under assault. I mean, I think people forget that right before the 2020 primary, right before the Rona hit, The WTIC futures contract closed for the first time in history at a negative $36. That was a direct result of Russia and Saudi Arabia attacking us in our energy industry and trying to have jobs go poof in the night that are so important to the backbone of our economy here in Texas. I just think, Kyle, that we can do a better job as Texans in defending ourselves. I think too often those that are under the pink dome, especially in the executive branch and perhaps even in the judiciary, they continue to point to Washington, Devil City. It's their sole purview to be able to defend the borders, but they're not doing it. And Texans are dying. CBP agents are dying. Flight attendants are dying. 80% of hospitalizations, ICUs down in the Rio Grande Valley, specifically, particularly in McAllen, are being filled by those that should not even be on this side of the Rio Grande. We got to do something, Kyle. Maybe the only way out is out. Maybe the only way out of this mess is out of the union.
Yep. Hey, I've actually got some great news, some positive news on some things that are happening right now in the state of Texas concerning the border. So you know that our governor, because he's got some good challengers, whether it's Alan West, whether it's Don Huffines or Prather, they're all good. And they're all putting pressure on Governor Abbott from the right to be able to do what's right for the state of Texas. So let me tell you a little bit about what's going on. So Governor Abbott announced months ago that he was going to start building the wall. And he was going to do something about the border. So besides arresting people for trespassing and things like that, there has actually been progress on Texas building a wall. And you don't hear anything about it, but it's happening behind the scenes. And I'm working directly with the Facilities Commission commissioner who Governor Abbott put in charge of hiring a coordinator to replace the Army Corps of Engineers to actually build infrastructure, not a chain link fence, which has been happening, but actually infrastructure on the border. Now that request for RFP, request for proposals, is going to be let out in the next 2 weeks.
Nice.
So we're actually, and I believe, and I've been behind the scenes on this, I believe in the next couple of weeks, we're going to hear an announcement. And there are some people, good people, that I believe is going to put some pressure on the federal government and Texas. And I'm not going to let this slide. I'm going to continue to push and make sure this happens, that Texas comes against the federal government for the rights of Texas, according to our Constitution and according to the U.S. Constitution, that we have the right to protect ourselves from invasion and from emergencies coming across this international border.
Here, Kyle.
Hey, I'm telling you right now, Claver, this is what Texas is all about. Most states have been afraid to stand up to the federal government because they're afraid of their toys or their money or the strings being taken away from the states. So the states have just given away their rights to the federal government in order to gain,
their children.
Money.
They've given away their children, and the Department of Education, which is completely and totally unconstitutional, is setting up the nation for ruin into the decades.
That's right. That's right. But here it is. A state needs to stand up to the federal government. And we are at the precipice right now, within the next couple of weeks, to actually stand up to the federal government and tell them we're not going to put up with this anymore. And so that is the beginning of Texas independence. That's the beginning of any state to stand up to the federal government. If Texas needs to be the one, everyone's looking at us. So if this happens, which I believe it will, we will stand up to the federal government and we're going to tell them we're not going to put up with this anymore. And that will be a great beginning and opening for Texas to then, if the federal government doesn't allow us to do it, it gives us a great opening to be able to say, okay, we're out of here. We're going to be our own nation and we're going to take care of our own border because you guys will not allow us to do it according to the Constitution. And so I'm excited about this right now. And this is all going to happen in the next couple of weeks.
Kyle, before I let you go, I kind of want to see if you can give us sort of a temperature or a barometer of the Texas issue as it stands into the Pink Dome right now. You know, what we've seen really since that seminal moment at the 2016 state convention is that when the referendum was debated hotly on the floor of the state convention to be added into the platform, we've seen candidates across the state not shy away from answering, making a commitment one way or the other as far as Texas is concerned. When I ran for office, they thought it was going to be a gotcha question because everybody knows that I was pro-Texas and I was at a candidates forum, one of the most preeminent Republican women's clubs in the state, at least here in the city of Houston, and I thought it was going to be a gotcha question. And of course I didn't back down. Of course I didn't crawfish. I didn't turtle on it. I stood up firmly and defended my support of Texas and nearly got a standing ovation on it. More candidates seem to not be shying away. It's not a third rail. It's not a downed power line. In fact, the three challengers to Governor Abbott in the primary, all three have committed to a TNM virtual town hall and have expressed their support of at least the referendum. Whether or not they're for Texas or not, they believe that the people of Texas have a right of self-determination. I think the tide is turning to where it's not political quicksand anymore, Kyle. Are you seeing the same thing? Are you observing the same thing?
Well, not in the legislature. I'm not seeing that. The legislature, they're weak. They do not like risk. They do not like taking any, they don't like stepping out from the status quo. But what I'm saying right now is they may not have a choice. Because once this program coordinator that will take the place of the Army Corps of Engineers is approved by the facilities commissioner, who Governor Abbott has put in charge, we start coming and pushing against the federal government and building the wall. That's what the whole thing is. It's about building the wall. And if we start building the wall, that will then start giving confidence to the legislators to be able to say, hey, we're going to start, we now have cover to start moving that direction. Right now, they're so weak. They don't want to say a word. They're waiting and waiting. But once one state, and Texas has to be the one, stands against the federal government to protect our state, which is constitutional, that's what it's going to take. And when we do that, that's going to just move really quickly the confidence and the support from legislators, as well as citizens of the state of Texas, to support this movement.
They can see, hey, we really can do this on our own.
That's right.
We don't need DC. DC needs us. See, you wouldn't want to be a.
Amen. And what DC is doing right now with the Democrats from Texas siding with DC, with the Biden administration, a total failure. You're right. We don't want to go down with DC. And so the timing is actually really good. And again, it all comes back to, hey, politics is, politics is usually a bad situation. But when you have a challenger or a few challengers, it really makes whoever's in charge right now, who's ever elected, do things they wouldn't usually do. And that's what's happening right now. And I just believe God's in control of this.
Yeah.
And I will come back in a couple of weeks, but I know where we are right now on this situation. And I really believe this is going to start moving, and it's going to start forcing people to take sides. And you're either with Texas or you're with the federal government. There
So
is no other choice.
You think this wall project is going to be a marker, that it is a proxy for the referendum?
Amen.
Really?
Yes, sir. You better believe it, because that's what the whole Texas movement is about. It's about the states standing up to the federal government, and if we don't get what we're supposed to do, which we haven't, then gives us the opportunity, or we have no choice but to leave. This is going to put the marker down, and now people are going to see for themselves that you're right. And Texas National Movement has been right for 20 years that the federal government is so broken, And Texas, once we push back and we see what the federal government's response is, everyone's going to know that's the direction to go.
Kyle, I want to thank you, man. We're running a little bit behind, but your time is valuable. Whenever we can capture just a moment of your time in order to brief us exactly what's going on under the pink dome, because you always shoot straight. You give it to us straight, no chasers. So we appreciate about it. I know that Daniel and Kara appreciate everything that you've done for the movement. I know that every single member of the Texas Nationalist Movement Advisory Board, on down to the one who joined just a few minutes ago, appreciates what you're doing for life, liberty, and prosperity here in Texas and for Texans. Brother, we love you. We really love you. Thank you so much. May the Lord Jesus continue to bless you, your beautiful wife, your family, your business, all that your hands laid on. May it be prosperous. We love you, brother. Thank you so much. Please don't stop.
Hey, well, thank you so much, Claver. Love you too. And Daniel, if you're listening, if not, I'll talk to you very soon. God bless you. Thanks for all you've done. It's because of patriots like Daniel that we're in the position we are right now. And like I said, I believe that we're in a great spot right now, and we got to push against the federal government, and Texas needs to stand strong. God bless Texas. And thank you very much for letting me be on.
We love you, Kyle. God bless you, brother.
In the years preceding the American Revolution, Sam Adams
This is Ryan McCubbin from Upshur County. I just wanted to send out a note of
Well, guys, we were going to try to get a couple of more tribute videos in. Maybe we can get them in before it's over, but they were buffering right there, which is not a good thing. So I'm going to call an audible here. Daphne, Nate, y'all get back in here. Daphne, Nate.
Hey, Claver.
Hey. So it's been a pretty good night, but
It's been an awesome night.
It's been an awesome night, but I want to bring you guys back in. Daphne Moore, Nate Smith. This had a bifurcated dual purpose here tonight. We want to celebrate Dave, we want to celebrate Kara, we want to celebrate TNM, but it's also a fundraiser. So talk to us about it.
It's always a fundraiser for us these days. Like I told you earlier, I've been in this movement for years and years, and I just really want to tell Daniel right now how much I appreciate all the work that he's done, all the time and the hours that he's given. I don't think that people really understand, if they don't get to spend a lot of time around Daniel, the amount of time, the amount of hours that he has put into this movement, and he continues to put into this movement every day. We really could not run this organization without Daniel. he does a lot of jobs in the background that people don't really realize. I mean, he is actually our chief technical officer, and I can tell y'all right now, you can't see it, but I can. He's on duty right now, helping us get through this live broadcast. But we really appreciate him. And guys, we none of us would be here today if it wasn't for Daniel and for his work that he did and the commitment that he made to Texas independence years ago. Well, 25 years ago. And you will hear him tell the story. I wish we could have played it tonight, but you got to see a little bit of it when we were in that under that covered patio back in 2010. I was there. You probably couldn't see me in the video, but I was there. And here's the thing: I know a lot of those people that were there with us that night. They're gone. What happens in our movement? People come in and they serve a year or two and then they disappear because we didn't get it done fast enough. Well, guys, this isn't fast. Look at poor Scotland over there. Look what they haven't done it yet. So we have worked. Daniel has worked tirelessly. When he married Kara came into the picture. She has worked tirelessly right there beside Daniel. And I just really want people to understand the amount of work that goes into this and the passion. And not to mention, we run things on a shoestring budget, but I'm here to tell y'all that is fixing to stop. We have got to raise money for this organization. And I want to give a special thank you. We saw some more super chats coming in while different people were coming on. And Stephen Mull, I want to tell you, thank you. I saw your $1.99. You give a super chat every time you get on, and we really appreciate that, Stephen. And all the others, guys, I saw Dean and Mary give some. But anyway, I just want to thank you for that. Nate, you got something to say?
Yeah, I do. One, it's been incredible tonight. It's so wonderful to hear from everyone, but especially enjoyed getting to hear from our state representatives, James White and Kyle Biederman, that were joint authors of the bill. So that's really incredible and special. One of the things I wanted to draw attention to as well was that, 25 years of dedication and perseverance and determination, those are easily extrapolate from the time frame. And when we say 25 years, we don't mean 5 years here and 5 years off, another 5 years here. That's been consistent, that Daniel has given, and absolutely Kara, from the moment that she joined with him, has done that as well. And both of them have worked their tails off, literally, to make Texas happen tirelessly, day and night, weekday, weekend, around the clock. It's really incredible. And that only highlights a fraction of what they have done and what Daniel has done to guarantee that we're going to have, not if, but when, the political, cultural, and economic independence for Texas. I'm going to hit a quick highlight reel of some of the things. I want you to understand that it's the intelligence, the skill, the brilliance that's gone behind these plays that would have never happened had it not been for Daniel and Kara's resilience behind this, from the people that they worked with to the moves that they were able to foresee. And, 25 years of navigating a media that's out to destroy you, that's incredible.
That is really incredible, Nate. And one thing too, Daniel, people, you get to see at different, he does his coffee talks, he talks on other things. If you ever get an opportunity to go see Daniel do a live speech, do not miss that. Do not miss it. And what I want people to really understand, and he'll probably get on to me later because I'm going to say this, the man is brilliant. He is absolutely brilliant. I know where you're going with your story about the political moves. He outplays all those guys up in the Pink Dome, and we see him do it day in and day out. We have a different position because we're behind the scenes. We get to be in some of the strategy meetings and stuff. But I know where you're going. But I just wanted to say, it's just amazing to watch him work. I don't know how else to say it.
It really is. I mean, it's making inroads into an initially unfriendly legislature and building enough to where we got a bill filed to give us a vote on Texas independence with 6 co-authors. I mean, that is tremendous progress, and that couldn't have happened without years of engaging and working with the legislature. And we talked about the economic and cultural aspects. From the cultural side, helping get Texans the ability to celebrate Independence Day, real Independence Day, March the 2nd, and San Jacinto Day with fireworks. That's
Thanks
a major
to
move.
Representative James White, who was on here earlier, who has worked with us through all those bills. Yeah, and I know a lot of the new members don't know the types of things that we've actually done in the past and the accomplishments that we've made, and we wouldn't have made them without Daniel.
Yep. You know, on the cultural side too, the concept for the Alamo Memorial March. I mean, that wouldn't have gone on consistently all these, not only for our incredible volunteers like Carl Gleim, who's dedicated so much time to this, but for Daniel's perseverance as well to make sure that we started that and that we followed through consistently on it month after month, year after year. On the economic side, you saw House Bill HB 483 that got us a Gold Depository Act, which meant that Texans can not only secure the gold and precious metals owned by the state and its agencies, but that also created a system of electronic transactions so that we as citizens have a built-in alternative when we're ready to branch out on our own currency. We'll have the ability to trade in precious metals. These are incredible things that many people have gone under the radar behind the scenes.
Absolutely, because he's setting us up for Texas to become independent, what we all work for every day. But again, without his work and his knowledge and the research that he's done, the time that he spent researching the other countries that he's connected with to learn, what were the pitfalls, what were the things they did right, and he brings those all back to us. People might not know that Daniel is known as the foremost authority on Texas independence in the nation, but we have all these other countries now contacting us, asking us, what are y'all doing over there? We have a lot of other states contacting us. What are y'all doing over there in Texas? And that's all because of Daniel's work.
Absolutely. I think it went all the way to running for office. And when I say running for office, I mean running like block walking, running for office.
We were there. We did it with him. I remember.
Himself, others, his opponent had to drastically outspend him. And I say had to drastically outspend him because he needed to drastically outspend to win. The number of votes that Daniel got per dollar compared to what his opponent did was incredible. But I guess it helps when you own a hardware store or something. But that's the first one.
To the basement. That's what we did. We sent him to the basement. That's what
we did.
Biden. But before Biden did his basement campaign from the basement, Alan Ritter did a campaign from the basement. That's what he did. We sent him to the basement. He was so embarrassed. That's what it was.
He was, and Claver was there with us. We've all been down these trenches together. Well, hey guys, before Nate and I jump off, because I know we're still running a little bit on time. Yeah. So one of my favorite things to do in the organization, I get to sell merchandise and I give prizes and stuff. That's one of my favorite things to do. So in honor of Daniel, y'all all know that he wears a Texan hat, right? Well, look what we have, a brand new Texan hat. But Daniel had us let me get to the camera here. We redid it because he said that the one he has a little bit hot. So we got this trucker style now. This is going to go on the website for sale. I don't know if he's gotten it up yet, but after the broadcast, it will start being available. It's going to be $25. You do have to pay shipping and handling with that, but we would love for you guys to be sporting this around in town. $25. So go to the website, in the cart in the store. That's where you'll find it. And another thing we do, I have one of the privileges of traveling on the executive team with Nate and Daniel, and we go when Daniel goes out speaking and stuff. And I normally close the show, whatever we call it, the speaking event. And we have a very, very special shirt. And you might have seen some people wearing this shirt, maybe not, but I'm going to show it to you. It's actually looks like the cover of Daniel's book. Can y'all see that? It says Texas. When I hold it in front of my face, I can't see it. There it goes. And this looks just like Daniel's book cover. Then the back of it says, "We want to vote, texitnow.org." And it's got our little patch on the side. Guys, this shirt will never, ever be available on the website. It is a special travel shirt we do, and it is a donation. So it's not for sale. What I want to see if there's anybody that's willing to give us $100 donation tonight. All the money goes into all of the things we talked about earlier. It pays for our tech. It pays to keep us traveling on the road. It pays for advertising. But I do this at every meeting that we go to. We close it with the $100 donation and you get the shirt. And the way that you'll need to do this is head over to the website at tnm.me, tnm.me, and go find that donation button and you make a $100 donation on the website. So if you do that tonight, you too can get one of these shirts. If you make that donation, make sure your name's on there so I know who to send the shirts to. And I'm going to need your size too, so I'll probably have to contact you, but please go over there. Thank you, Dean. I see that you said you wear that shirt everywhere. It is great, great advertising. And guys, if you are privileged enough to wear this shirt, we know that you have a little skin in the game, as I like to say, because you thought enough about the organization and about the work that we do. That money's not going in our pocket, I assure you. It is going for all those things that we've talked about earlier and then some, because it takes a lot of money to run an organization this size, and we are just getting bigger and bigger, and we're requiring more resources. So if you want to do that, that will be great. Okay, Claver, if you want to come back on, I know we need to move on, but I also want to thank you all for hanging in there with us tonight. Nate's got some more stuff.
Oh, I was just showing off these two wonderful books. You can't see this one as well. Line in the Sand, Texas book. Get this, just like the shirt, like she said, Line in the Sand. If you can find it, it's an excellent authority on Texas nationalism and what we stand for. 3 things I want to close with. Things you can do to take action to make this. 1, run for office if you can. 2, make a financial gift. Get that $100 or more in to get that shirt. And I don't want to assume what anybody can or can't do. So in honor of the 25th anniversary, whether you can do $25,000, $2,500, $250, or a $25 gift, or the $100 or more for that shirt, then please go to the site, make that donation. Number 3, help us get signatures. You can volunteer to be a CPC, a local coordinator, or a district director. Go to that volunteer, get involved. Look, this is 15 pages of signatures. I got 1 day, state capitol, 5 hours. We can do this.
Absolutely. And guys, if we missed you in the super chat and we didn't call your name out, please forgive us. That goes by so quick, we can't see them all the time. But if you did give money in the super chat, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Yeah, we put the doctor. We put his I put his donation up. We saw that puppy. It did not slide by, Doc. All right, it didn't slide by. We saw the donation. Thank you, my brother. We saw it. Daphne, Nate, thanks a lot, man.
Thank you, Claver. Thank you for hosting for us tonight too. We appreciate all of your work.
My pleasure. It's my honor. Hey, let's bring on the man and the woman of the hour. The man that we're celebrating. Hey, y'all gotta do something about that. I'll just.
Okay, that worked out. Where did Claver go?
I don't know.
Claver, what are you doing? Look, let's look. Watch this. Look at me being tech support. Here we go. Watch. Hey, Claver, look at that.
Oh, how? Oh.
I get to be Geek Squad all the time.
Oh, look at me! I switched it around, so so it looks like I'm looking at you. Look, I'm a quick study. I can pick it up. All right.
You did wonderful. I have to say this. Karen and I have been watching, and I cannot. I personally cannot express what hearing all this has meant. And look, for those of you who don't know, contrary to popular belief, I am painfully shy and a private person. It's true. You laugh. It's true. Hey, you want to hear something funny? Okay, because this is right. 25 years. The secret is going to be out. Am I not painfully shy?
Painfully
shy. Painfully, ladies and gentlemen.
It is very.
Daniel Miller is painfully shy.
I really am.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. And Joe Biden has all of his cognitive skills. Yeah. Right. Okay.
Well,
right.
Look, you said it from your lips to God's ears, apparently. So. If you believe President Potato Head is possessed of all his faculties, Claver, there's not a lot I could do for you. But look, all kidding aside, it was very humbling to hear all the kind words. Like I've gotten emails all day and messages, and I don't know how to really process it all, other than to say that I'm grateful. And so, as I was being grateful and reflective, suddenly Daphne went all QVC on us with hats and shirts, and then then it just got awkward.
Hey, you know what? You know what the great thing about it is, Daniel. It wasn't this whole 2 hours. None of it was never Daniel worship. It was Daniel gratitude, and that's a big difference. That speaks volumes to the quality of people that have decided to follow your leadership. They recognize that it is not Daniel worship that you seek, it's a betterment of their lives.
Look, man, this has never been about me. I mean,
We see that. We see that.
August 24th, 1996, man. I was a little peon, a little cog in a machine that was out of control, that had a tiger by the tail and did not know what to do with it. And all I did was just step up. I made an oath that day, and then I did that. And to me, it was about not quitting. Now, granted, here comes the football analogy. I'm sure Nate and Daphne will probably be surprised about a football analogy, but the bottom line is on this Texas independence issue, we were starting on our own 1 yard line. So literally every gain that we have made has been a gain. I mean, that's the bottom line, and it's all moving toward our inevitable goal of returning the right of self-government back to the people of Texas. And frankly, folks, it's about time. I did not intend to be doing this for 25 years, but here we are, and it ain't over till it's over.
Yeah, it may take a little bit longer, and there's no quit in any of us. Carol, what have you thought about this ride? Because you've been right there with him. I mean, good times, bad times, hard times to pay the bills, traveling all over the state, him gone for days at a time sometimes. I mean, talk to us about your ride, because it's Daniel's appreciation, celebration, 25 years, but you're bone of his bone, flesh of his flesh. You've been right there with him, inseparable. Your thoughts?
Thank you, Claver. I did want to say how grateful I am to Daniel for his vision, his leadership, and really tenacity to get us as far as we have gotten. When Nate and Daphne were talking, and I was thinking back on the plays that he's made through the years and how he's outsmarted the machine, because all the machine wants to do is live. And he loves to kick their teeth in. But
yeah,
25 years, many marriages don't last 25 years. And I know that on August 24th, 1996, he never envisioned in his mind that 25 years later, there would be 416,166 people standing shoulder to shoulder with him, working hard for their future generations. Mm-hmm. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you for your vision. Thank you for your mistress, Texas. She's wicked.
Oh, she is a wicked mistress.
But I am just so grateful to be your neck. And I want to be with you forever until we cross the finish line. And then I want to go fishing.
Be your neck. Is that like a euphemism? What is that?
Head of the neck.
Oh, no. We're partners.
Well, that's what I mean. The head can't swivel without the neck.
And look, here's something to remember. And she won't mention this, and I can't believe I'm mentioning it. But I can remember, golly, man, it was probably 07, 08, early days of T&M. And, we had, we're the Brady Bunch. So we had three kids each, so 6 between us. And I can remember that things were so tight because we were just our business was just starting off, and we paid our dues. We were still working T&M, and I can remember that for that year, our kids they got the Dollar Tree Christmas.
Dollar Tree.
They got
Christmas.
a dollar, but you know what? Our membership dues never lapsed.
That's true.
So
that's true.
Yeah, so it's sometimes you have to do that, but I can say this for all of you that are here now. We're just glad that you're on this journey with us. That you've seen the vision. That we can do this and we can make this happen. And together we're going to get it done. That's all. That's all there is to it. I mean, it's just we're going to win, and if we can. To echo something Daphne said a minute ago, she was talking about that video from Gonzales, and I, it was something I noticed too. So many of those people, they crossed that line, and I don't know if it was peer pressure or whatever, but a lot of those people aren't there. That's right. And you're never going to win if you don't have. I mean, you got to be, in for penny, in for pound, right? You got to be in it to win it, and you got to be in it till the very end. And some people will be, some people won't, but at the end of the day, we have to have enough of us that won't take no for an answer, enough of us that won't quit, that'll just, take it. The nastier the opposition gets, the better we like it. That's the kind of attitude we got to have. Houston did not march to victory in San Jacinto with everybody that started off in the Texas Revolution, but he went with enough, and that's all we've got to have is enough. We get and win a vote on Texas independence with people like we've seen on here, people that are participating tonight, folks like James and Kyle and Daphne and Nate and Don and Carl. And I mean, literally everyone that was on here, we can do this. We just have to never, ever, ever say no.
What do I always say?
Kara does say this all the time, and it's a good bit of wisdom, is that most people stop just short of greatness, and we've seen it time and time again. And but I believe now that we are marching along with people that are just not going to take no for an answer.
Be greatness.
Yeah, be greatness. Oh yeah, another pro tip for 25 years: you better have a sense of humor.
That's true.
That's all I can say. And speaking of sense of humor, hey Claver, check your text messages.
Really, look, man, I'm multitasking as it is. All right, I don't need any. Okay, I don't need any. Come on, man. This is what. Folks. This is what I got to deal with all the time.
You're doing a great job, Claver.
Yeah, Claver, thank you.
Yeah, no sense of humor. He's just shy. He's just, he's. This guy, Daniel Miller. Look at this guy. Look at this. Look, this is what I get in the middle of a 2-hour program.
Junior.
This is what I get in the middle of a 2-hour program. Okay, I'm multitasking. I'm like an octopus over here trying to do everything, and you guys are sending cat videos. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Claver, that's an animated GIF, not a video. But who's counting, right?
I don't care, Daniel. I really don't care, man. I really don't. You're one sick puppy. That's all I gotta say. I mean,
That's
I don't.
Good. Well, that's a good way to end this tribute, is by Claver calling me a sick puppy. Thank you, Claver.
It's just one. It's one of your enduring traits. I think that's one of the reasons why you've been so successful. You're just twisted enough to be successful.
Well, I hear that. We debated in 2012 when I ran for state rep that my campaign theme song should have been Waylon Jennings singing "I've Always Been Crazy," but that didn't work out. So look, all kidding aside, I'm going to just say this: none of what I've been able to do could be possible without everyone coming together. I mean, I've said this a lot lately in speeches during the coffee talk. Daniel Miller cannot do this alone. and it's going to take all of us to make this happen. So, bottom line is all of these nice things that people have said about me. I appreciate it, but know that it's not about me. It's about us, and it's about us doing this together and going out and winning our independence. Bottom line, point blank. Whether I see the end or not, the bottom line is that the vision carries on. The mission is there until we finish it. And look, let's be honest, we get Texas independence. The mission's still not over, because there are going to be people out there that are just absolutely dying to throw us back into some subservience under some political garbage that we don't want. It's Texas independence now. Texas first, Texas forever. That's where we got to be. Hey, we should just sit here and stare at the camera until Claver comes back on, so we can harass him a little bit more.
No. I need no more harassment from the twos of you.
Well, Claver, that's not very friendly of you. But hey, but let me thank you for doing this tonight. I mean, you had to learn the new platform and everything else in short order.
Yeah, it was my pleasure. I mean, regardless of the fact that I'm sort of like the default fallback because there ain't nobody else to do it. So I mean, it's like
You're very, very good at it. Let's just face it.
Yeah, okay, Carol.
We saw your ad on Craigslist. We know you're good at this. Radio host for hire. We'll do tribute video live streams and bar mitzvahs. I saw the ad.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Let me get these people off the stream now. Let's end this, please. Hey, guys, thanks so much. We love you. I hope you really enjoyed it. And it's something for you. You got your flowers while you're still breathing. It's something you can look back on 25 years from now when we're indeed.
When we're retired.
You're an optimist. I mean, but I am eating more salads now. So, I mean, it is definitely a little more in the realm of possibility.
We love you guys, man. Y'all take it easy.
Hey, Claver, let me just say one more thing before we wrap up. And I have to make this known to the folks that have to work with me on a daily basis. I understand that some days I can just be a right bastard, but I understand that it's because I care. I believe not just in the cause, but I believe in each one of you. Kara and I probably believe in you guys maybe more than you believe in yourselves. But I believe that it is this generation right here that is going to take up that mantle and live up to that legacy of the Texians that won the Texas Revolution the last time. Travis, Crockett, Bowie, all of those folks, they didn't go into doing what they did because they thought they were going to be heroes. They did it because it needed to be done. And in that moment, they became probably more than they ever anticipated for themselves. And we believe not just in the cause and the vision, but we 100% believe in you. And so from the bottom of my heart, and I know I believe I'm echoing the sentiments from Kara, thank you all. Thank you, every single one of you, and especially for those of you who have to put up with me on a regular basis because, dadgummit, I like to win.
Let's go win.
Here's my coffee.
Here's my fizzy water.
Salute.
Cheers, everyone. Thank you.
Yamas.
Yamas.
Guys, thanks so much for making it special for Daniel and Kara. All of those that are connected with the TNM, advisory board, district directors, coordinators. Thanks so much. It's not just for Daniel and Kara. It edifies each one of us, encourages each one of us. It re-energizes us to come together like this and celebrate 25 years. and not shrink back at the reality that it's not over with yet, that we've got more work to do. That's what's really awesome. I agree with Daniel and Kara, very much so, that it's not about one single individual. It's about all of us pulling together, believing in this unbelievable, fantastic vision of Texas independence once again, and understanding down to our bone marrow what it means for each and every one of us individually, for our families, for everyone that we love. And we have absolutely no intention of quitting. And we appreciate Daniel and Kara leading, carrying the torch, and we ain't got no problems following behind them. And we're going to get this job done. So I would suggest that on the various platforms that you've been watching this live stream, that you share it. If you have the capacity to edit, make your own little short videos out of it and distribute it as you wish to those that you know may be on the fence about Texit. Be a Texit evangelist, one-on-one. So we thank you so much for tuning in. And I'm going to say toodaloo. See you guys later. May the Lord Jesus bless you. May the Lord Jesus bless the future independent sovereign republic of Texas. But more importantly, may Texas continue to bless the Lord Jesus. Good night.